What's up, y'all? Oh, damn it. There it is. I had a bunch of notes written, and I couldn't see them because I had to move the app over. What's up, y'all? Boulder. Catastrophic reconfiguration. I know, it's got an old school vibe. I can dig it. Kind of reminds me of Revocation back in the day. Old Revocation. Anybody ever check out old Revocation? I saw them live with Goat Whore. Revocation, not Molder. But Revocation, Goat Whore, Revocation blew me away. It's an old school progressive vibe. And I was like, ooh. These guys are more just old school. Less on the prog. Which is cool. Prog is cool, but prog can get, I don't know, get prog like Chuck Schuldiner and drift out of metal. And you get prog like Revocation where they just became more like sludge. Which is kind of cool, but I don't know. It sounded too much like High on Fire after a while. Which I like High on Fire because that's what High on Fire does, but early Revocation to me was all that proggy, technical, old school. But I like Molder for just keeping it with the old school. Just gonna do that. Like, yeah, it's probably a better move. Like, it worked really well for King Fowley of Deceased. You know, dude put out some really good albums. Keeping it real like that. If you listen to early Deceased, it's actually trying to be brutal death metal. They realized that ain't gonna work. We gotta do something different. So they're like, let's keep it like a traditional old school stuff. So my first spin of this a while back, I mean, I heard it on YouTube and I thought it was cool. I was just like, bob my head to it. It's a good tone. When I got the physical copy, I can like work out and paint, do other stuff. You know, and really listen to it. By the time I got to like Corpse Copulation, I was like, oh yeah, this is a bad motherfucker. So I got track 7 or 8 or whatever, and the track was that? Corpse Copulation. Track 8. So that's a good little melodic solo right there. That's really cool. But not so melodic, it's pop music. That's a minor key right there. Phrygian? Oh, just that whammy bar all the way down. Yeah. This is the kind of stuff why I thought metal was cool. Little tricks with the guitar with a whammy bar. Pretty little solos, you know. I guess that's why Slayer just kind of like, after a while, it kind of just got on my nerves. Too many solos. They were good, but there was a lot of them. So, yeah, that was a big episode of that last one, Zenit. You know, kind of a follow-up to that nonconformity thing, you know. I don't know. If you're gonna do this, nonconformity is just kind of like doing you. For me personally, I just thought about this. If I didn't like it and I didn't want to do it, I didn't fucking do it. Now, there's some things you have to suck up and take, and it's just the breaks. You just like, there's things that are unavoidable. Consequences are unavoidable, so you kind of just do what you got to. And then there's things that are like societally induced upon you. And some of that, it makes sense. It's like, well, we do want clean water and roads and shit like that. The Postal Service seems to be a fucking awesome thing when it works right. Like, we all agree that there's things we like about the modern world. So we just suck up a few things. And like, I can put up with a couple of these things in order to have these conveniences and talk to y'all and some music. So, you know. But then there's things that just like go beyond that. It's like, I don't want or need that thing you're offering me, but you're still forcing me to be a part of it or pay for it somehow. For me, I always push back on those moments. You know, but my whole life was finding those moments, not within society, but within myself. I knew where I could push society and get a certain response. You push too hard, and those dudes show up with the badges and guns. To me, it was always finding that line of not how far they can go, but how far I myself am willing to take it. And if you've been seeing some of my videos, you know that I've talked about pushing things a little too far. And experiences not only with myself, but seeing other people. Yeah. So when you're doing this nonconformity thing, think about how much you're committing to it. Are you willing to pay the ultimate price for it? Yes or no? Well, no. Well, how much are you willing to pay? Incarceration for years of your life? Homelessness? How far are you willing to take it? Find that limit within yourself and kind of work from there. I've always had no-go places in myself that I would not go. And I just started with that and worked my way backwards. Find out what you're not going to do, and then just find all the things you are going to do. And be willing to pay that price. Don't bitch and moan when it's time to pay. You got to pay that piper. Don't bitch, don't moan. You got yourself there. Old dude back in the day told me, you laced up your shoes, you walked out the door, and you thought that was a good idea, didn't you? Like, and he wasn't saying to me, he was saying to somebody else, and I overheard that, and I was like, because he was telling the guy off, but he was also like, you put this idea in your head, and you decided to commit this act. That's on you, not me. So, and if you want to go that far, just be able to accept the consequences like a responsible adult, or say, you know, like some of us say, like a fucking man. Take it like a fucking man. Some of y'all out there are female or women or something, you know. So, well, what does that mean for me? Well, here's the generic one for everyone. Be a responsible adult, responsible for your own actions. If you did wrong, you know, and the person confronts you, just be a responsible adult and acknowledge that. Don't bitch, don't moan. You know, don't lie. Own up to your shit. And man, I've done wrong to people, and they're like, "Hey, you did wrong to me," and I'm like, "Yeah, fuck you," because I was pushing a situation, trying to instigate that further. You know, then there's that nonconformity. You're willing to take it that far, and if you are, just be responsible. Moving on, off that, let's talk about some comments. We got some good ones. We got Mark Chaos. Oh yeah, I think I got him in a couple of comments. Mark Chaos saying he liked Friday the 13th Part 3 the most. See, yeah, you're like a friend of mine, who's another horror movie guy. And yeah, he said it was Jason, and he got the mask. So you already know who Jason is, and now you get that iconic image. The definition of the character right there. Yeah, if anything, that was like the other Friday the 13th 1 and 2 were like demo tapes, or like Friday the 13th was like from a different band. And then Friday the 13th Part 2 was kind of like a demo tape for their new project. And Friday the 13th 3 was the actual project. And they're like, this is what we want. So yeah, it's like the first album, you know. Well, Part 2 is a demo tape. Yeah, I don't know. That's cool. I like thinking about it like that. And that's probably a lot like 4, because it was like, oh yeah, it was just mass carnage. It was just like most extreme we could do. Here's the formula, let's push it to the extreme. That's what 4 was to me. That's kind of why I liked it. It was the formula pushed to the extreme. But 3 was the formula. So, yeah, I always respect 3, because as soon as you say the mask, I'm like, yeah. Oh, this is why to bring Mark Chaos back up. Those of you who do not know 80s action films, and me and Mark have talked about American versus Australian, because Australians got some wild ones. And there's a YouTube channel that has like grindhouse and westerns, like bleak, dark, brutal westerns from the 70s. Cinematic features and stuff like that. Some of them are Italian. Italians made some sick films in the 70s and 80s. Mostly in the 70s, but late 60s, 70s, early 80s. But we were talking about, Mark Chaos is Australian, we talked about Australian stuff. He brought up, as Mark knows, he's like, have I seen Stone Cold, starring Brian Bosworth, Lance Henriksen. We know who Lance Henriksen is, dude. Near Dark, Alien, Terminator. God, sci-fi. This guy's a legend. And William Forsythe. William Forsythe was in some great movies. He did he was one of the sheriffs in one of the Rob Zombie films. Devil's Rejects. He was that angry sheriff. I like Rob Zombie's film, but his dialogue sucks a lot of the times. And I think he would do better if he let other people chime in with that dialogue. I always thought if Kevin Smith or Quentin Tarantino did the dialogue for a Rob Zombie directed film or a Rob Zombie screenplay or something, I always thought that would be amazing. Kevin Smith and Robert Rodriguez, Quentin Tarantino always had the best dialogue. And that Joss Whedon guy. Buffy the Vampire Slayer, the TV show. I'm a nerd. I'll admit it. I watched that. The show was awesome. Comment down below. Anyways, call it Stone Cold. If y'all haven't seen that, you can go. I think you can watch it for free on YouTube. Or it might be like one of those 99-cent rentals. But Stone Cold with Brian Bosworth, Lance Henriksen. Brutal film. It's an undercover cop going into this neo-Nazi biker gang or some shit like that. It was right before that Satanic Panic, it was right about, no, it was a little bit after the Satanic Panic. Yeah, after the Satanic Panic, we got into the neo-Nazi racist trope. Anybody remember that movie, The Warriors? Back when it was I like those gangs because they were like multicultural street gangs. Multicultural street gangs from like New York that would stab you with a switchblade. Oh, that was a classic era. But anyways, 80s, that's what we had. And yes, I have seen that movie. It is amazing. I saw it back in the day on VHS. What's up? Like with all the other movies we're talking about, Mark. Those are all my VHS movie days. I brought up an American classic, The Wild Bunch. Some of you may know that, some of you may not. It seems like a lot of like Europeans know that one quicker than an American will sometimes. I find that fun. The Wild Bunch, if you haven't seen that, and Extreme Prejudice. So Stone Cold, Extreme Prejudice, and The Wild Bunch all had one thing in common: massive shootouts at the end of the movie. The climax of the movie was just this huge gun battle that was really entertaining and really well thought out. Like they thought of the strategy of how these forces would move, almost like you were there in it. The cuts were perfect. They were showing the action, moving to the next brutal scene, but it was shot in such a way that you could just feel the movement of the battlefield. I think the only action sequence that ever blew that away was Saving Private Ryan. I hated that movie, but that opening sequence was insane. If you want another dark war movie, it doesn't have the best action, but it's tolerable. It's very good action, but it's not Private Ryan. Thin Red Line. Thin Red Line came out right before Private Ryan, and everybody thought Thin Red Line was going to be the war movie. It was World War II, not the Battle of Coral Sea? I think it was Battle of Coral Sea, or something like that. But it was one of the island hopping campaigns. Oh my god. I saw it at the theater, I was like, oh, it's so sad, so bleak, so it's such a gruesome war tale. But then Private Ryan came out, and then nobody ever talked about Thin Red Line again. See Thin Red Line, but just know it's bleak and not the most action-y movie. But anyways, those movies all had brutal action at the end. The climaxes were fantastic. Then we got Micah. Oh, Micah. She said if I stop being weird, you have to call the sheriff. That's fair. Yeah, if I stop being weird, is I check my blood pressure and my heart rate and all that. Make sure I'm not having a stroke or something. I found this one on YouTube. No, I was going through a Hell's Headbangers Saturday catalog or whatever, and the algorithm, like, you're looking for something, just type it in, but there's always stuff down below that's a suggestion. And that's how I find some new music, is just by clicking on an album and seeing not the album, but what else is suggested with that. And then I'll go to YouTube and listen to it, or whatever I can from YouTube, and then try to, so that's sometimes my Saturday mornings. Saturday morning cartoons have been replaced with Hell's Headbanger catalog and YouTube. So I found Sabat from Japan. Sabat, they have a huge discography with a lot of stuff on Metal Archives. Oh my god. Been out since 1985. and their shit ranges all over the place. It's like punk rock, but black metal. So that's really cool. I like that. I like the fact that punk and black metal are kind of jiving and meshing real well. So I found Sabat, Black Up Your Soul, from 1994. I listened to that on YouTube. That was really, oh no, he had some King Diamond vocals in it too. So yeah, it's that punk rock, black metal, King Diamond vocals. That's just this album. Their entire catalog sounds different. Album to album. There's so many demos and EPs and live. Coffins is like that. But hearing Sabat, S-A-B-B-A-T. Listen to anything by him. It's entertaining as shit. But I was personally listening to Black Up Your Soul. Yeah. I was going to bring this up in another vid, but kind of zipping through the content, so it's fine. No, I will say that. We'll just listen to Molder. Catastrophic reconfiguration. Y'all digging this? Digging Deceased or anything like that? Alright, y'all. Yesterday was a long one. Today's a short one. Down abroad, you have a legend warlord. Catch you next time.